Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to another episode of Adventures in Angular. I'm Aaron Frost, your host. I work with Hero Devs and with ngconf. Today on our panel, we have Jennifer Wadella.
Hello, I suck at contouring.
Jennifer's putting her face on. We have Shai Reznik.
Can you say it again?
Reznik.
Again?
Shai Reznik.
Yes, that's my name, Shai Reznik. And I'm from testangular.com and highres.io and I think Angular and testing. So yeah, hello.
Testing. That must mean Joe's up next.
Joe Eames here from Thinkster.io.
Yep.
Thinkster.
People do this thing where they shoulder tap you because you're like, they think you're smart, right? And in some cases they're right. But every time someone's like, oh, Aaron, man, I really need to pick your brain on tests. I'm just like, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, talk to me about it. I love tests. You definitely didn't pick the wrong person. Maybe call my friend Shai or Joe. They're the guys who I would talk to. So,
Whoa, I actually like tests too. I put tests in my ngconf talk, so...
That's good.
This episode is sponsored by Sentry.io. Recently, I came across a great tool for tracking and monitoring problems in my apps. Then I asked them if they wanted to sponsor the show and allow me to share my experience with you. Sentry provides a terrific interface for keeping track of what's going on with my app. It also tracks releases so I can tell if what I deployed makes things better or worse. They give you full stack traces and as much information as possible about the situation when the error occurred to help you track down the errors. Plus, one thing I love, you can customize the context provided by Sentry. So, if you're looking for specific information about the request, you can provide it. It automatically scrubs passwords and secure information, and you can customize the scrubbing as well. Finally, it has a user feedback system built in that you can use to get information from your users. Oh, and I also love that they support open source to the point where they actually open sourced Sentry if you want to self-host it. Use the code devchat at Sentry.io to get 2 months free on Sentry's small plan. That's code devchat at Sentry.io.
So what are we talking about today?
So today, there is a lot to talk about today. We kind of were like, hey, community, let's just talk about weird stuff in the community, yo.
Weird stuff at the community.
Weird stuff in the community.
Yeah, like two people here that run a giant conference. I run like a giant meetup group, and Jennifer
runs a million things.
I run like 6 meetup groups.
Meetup group, going to 20 conferences a day.
And still, you can't get enough Twitter followers.
And I'm not allowed to have fun on Twitter because I don't have enough followers to deserve it.
How many followers do you have?
I don't know, like somewhere in the 4,000 range. Apparently not
4,000? Come on.
You're not saying wild enough things. That's the key to Twitter followers, is to just say...
No, she is.
Whoa. I posted AiA the other night with chorizo in it, and that was pretty fucking wild. That pissed off a lot of internet nerds.
Hey. Like saying like a 10x developer, like someone is a 10x developer. What the hell was that?
What was the 10x developer thing? I just showed up to work on Monday, and people were like, 10x. And I was like, wait, what happened? Something must have happened.
Yeah, because it was Friday night. Well, Friday night, I guess, in our time zone. Because, like, I had been cooking with my friends, like, was faced on wine, pull up Twitter before I go to bed, and I see this 10x shit, and I'm like, oh, God, what now?
What was it? Can you explain to...
Yeah. So, this person who...
Was he a VC or some, like, tech bro?
He's not famous. He's got... Hold on. 31,000 followers. So
so he's cool.
He's not significant. He decided to do a tweet stream, said, hey, startups, there's this rare kind of engineer that I call a 10x engineer, and you need to have them. Your odds will go up if you get one. How do you spot one, though? Let me give you 10 ways. He actually gave 11. And it wasn't that opening statement. Dude, if there's such a thing as a 10x engineer, let's do it. It was his clues on how to spot them that made people like lose their mind.
Like they're bad at mentoring.
Put the link in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, so let me put a link in the chat. Hold on. This is for Shai. The link.
The slow one.
Reznik. This is a tweet. Reznik.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I have a lot of people like you where they're like seeing everything on Twitter and they're like, oh my God, I can't even find the origin thread to understand what everybody's making fun of.
Yeah. So I found it. And like, number one, 10x engineers hate meetings. I was like, well, all right.
Okay.
What else you got? What else you got? Like, that's not a litmus test that works.
Okay.
And timing for 10x engineers highly regular. Basically, they don't have standard hours. They come in whenever they want.
Sounds like a team player to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then here's the best one was their laptop background color is typically black.
I forgot about that.
Typically.
It's typically. This is part of the litmus test.
Their keyboard keys, such as IFX, are usually worn out than of A, S, and E email senders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hold
What
on. Let's
the
back up.
hell?
Let's back up. I want to talk about background colors.
Background
I
color.
wasn't clear about what he meant. Did he mean the color, like the theme of
Your
your
laptop
IDE?
screen.
Yeah, like dark theme.
Hey.
Dark
I assume that's what he's talking about, but did he actually mean like your screensaver? Like you don't use a bright screensaver if you're a 10x. A 10x developer uses a screensaver that is dark, like Batman.
I am a 10x developer because my background is my
black.
logo, which is black and like with the logo.
Yeah.
Dude, he's talking
Yeah,
about
you're there.
Yeah.
He's talking about you. Well,
The
like if
litmus
you're an
test.
Iron Maiden
Guy,
fan, are
You're
you a
passing
10x?
the test, Shai.
Yeah.
10x dev engineers. I think it's a joke. No, it isn't a joke.
No. And that was one of the replies was, I just realized this isn't satire. Like, someone thought it was trying to be funny.
Engineers know every line of code that has gone into production.
You're getting
Support-
too far ahead. We gotta
Yeah,
spend more
stop.
time breaking this down.
Yeah,
Stop reading ahead, Shai.
Okay, so this episode is the 10x episode.
Yeah. We gotta skip some, Joe, to Shai's point.
This is my desktop background because it's relevant-ish.
But the background color of your desktop, while I prefer dark themes, it's not a litmus test at all, right? Like, and especially since he said black, not dark. Like, of the people who use dark background, most of them don't use black. That's all I'm saying. Most of them have like dark themes.
So you need to know
Not
every
being semantic.
code that has gone into production.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like me again.
Yeah, you're falling through.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess if you're working
I'm curious.
alone,
I'm curious.
Most 10x engineers are full stack. All right, what else?
For them, code is code.
we talk about
They don't
some of the
care
crap
whether
front-end code I've
it's
seen?
front end. Oh, it's API, database, server. Yeah, basically, it's everything is the same, basically, right? So yeah, like
I'm just
CSS is
saying-
the same as database design.
That one's not as important for me. That one like didn't really hit on any.
Oh, okay. 10x engineers can convert thought into code in
their mind.
mind and write it in an iterative fashion.
Guys, let's do timeout real quick. What are the other ways to convert thought into code without the mind?
without the mind.
Yeah.
The mind.
I'm still stuck on what do you do with the I key?
I'm yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for if statements, like,
Okay.
what does command I do?
I'm wondering if
Sorry.
these. I was thinking maybe these are Vim bindings, right? Are these
Yeah.
common keys in if you're using Vim bindings? But
Mm.
because I is insert, right? That gets you into insert mode where you can actually type.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the thing that I really thought was hilarious was the A, S, and E, because those are apparently keys for email senders, which I send a lot of email, right? Like I do a lot of email.
So
And
you're
I have
not
yet to-
10x. You're
Probably
not
not.
10x.
Definitely not. But like I never thought that I would actually save time with the key bindings in my
By the way,
in
And-
work, right?
save.
And like the F matters. That's one of like the keys that has the dimple on it, so you find your place. Like the F and the J, you don't get credit if the F and the J are worn off. Is all I'm saying. The F,
Right. No credit for those.
right?
I always thought that it's more of like Command C, Command V, or Control C.
No,
Control
those are the
V.
10x Stack Overflow developers.
That's just Stack
Oh, okay.
Overflow developers.
Okay, sorry.
Those are your Stack Overflow contributors, bro.
Right.
And Johnsky.
Okay, let's go. Number 7. 10x engineers rarely.
They rarely look at documentation of classes.
Wait. Can we go back to the how to convert code into thought into code without the mind? Because I think I have an idea for this.
Or
You have an alternative to the mind.
Yes.
Okay.
Human waste byproducts.
So you inject thought into human byproduct.
Well, you breathe out. Maybe it's your breath. If it's not your mind, maybe it's your heart rate. You hook up something to your heart, and your heart is doing Morse code into code. Could it be that?
Well, okay.
Bond level shit.
Okay. I have one other option.
You got another option without the mind.
I think the mind's involved though, but it might be ancillary.
Okay. To our listeners, we're sorry. Okay, you just wasted your time listening to this episode.
Hang on.
You thought
developers don't apologize.
the community.
Yeah. 10x engineers don't apologize.
Yeah, that's number 11. You filtered yourself out, Shai.
Can we do what are the 10x podcasters? They're 10x podcasters don't apologize. What
Next
were you
podcast?
What is the other method, Frosty?
I was gonna say Diet Mountain Dew. I think if you put thought into that, code comes out the other side.
Wouldn't it be Jolt or Red Bull? That's
caffeine. Let's just back up to caffeine. Let's
back up to caffeine.
Let's widen the lens.
I got it. 10x engineers obtain their caffeine through soap.
Okay.
You can truly buy caffeinated soap, Jennifer. You can.
10x engineers are always learning new frameworks, languages ahead of everyone in the company. Okay.
Well, in reality, this needs to be written as they decide Go is really cool overnight and rewrite the entire backend from Node into Go, and then get it, and everybody's upset about it.
Right.
10x engineers bring in as many technologies as they possibly can. That's what I 10x engineers use Sass and Less and Stylus. And raw CSS. They use it all.
Yeah, and they don't read the documentation.
The right tool for the right.
Yeah, and they didn't read the documentation when they did it. So yeah.
The recipe for success is more technologies.
Throw more technology at it.
Number 9's good. 10x engineers are poor mentors, and they can't teach others.
Ooh, that's good.
Get these guys, people. Get that engineer.
Yeah, and then hope that a bus doesn't hit them, because then you're screwed.
Yeah,
everyone's scared of the bus scenario.
They are also poor interviewers, it said.
Yeah.
Where is the research coming from?
What does he mean by poor interviewers? They give interviews poorly, or they?
I think he means interviewees.
They're bad at being the interviewee.
No, it's
maybe they're bad at interviewing other people.
Yeah, that's what I first thought when I read it.
He had more characters on that tweet. He should have been more specific.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna need a clarification on that.
10x engineers don't need more characters. They are always specific.
Okay, 10x engineers don't hack things. They write quality code and know exactly how the code has to evolve. Okay. They write at most one design.
They're psychic.
Okay, and the rest in the code. Okay.
They're psychic.
Number 11.
They're encountering scope creep in their lives.
Number 11, 10x engineers rarely job hunt or move out of a company. They move out because you make their life miserable by publishing a 10x engineer guidebook with process and other non-value added activities like this one we're doing right now.
So for the listeners, you now have heard all of the entire litmus test from the 10x engineer tweet storm.
You're welcome.
Yeah, some of the replies are important. Are you high? That's one reply. What else? Some of the GIFs are pretty fantastic. I was reading this the other day with Joe, and it was pretty fun.
Wait, I can't find my Area 51 one that I loved.
Dark screen correct, worn out keys wrong. The keys worn out are escape, HJLK, IAO, DX, YP, ASW, D.
Okay, so somehow this has got to do something with like weird part of the community, right?
Yeah. What? Yeah, I'm just going to say, hopefully no one cared about any of this litmus test because none of that makes you
Did you not notice that somebody that you and I both know and are pretty well was jumping on the pseudo defense?
Who?
I don't want.
Spill the tea. Spill the tea.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm totally not publicly named.
Does it rhyme with Ray Ro Real?
That's the Scooby Doo.
Who is it?
You are correct, but I love the Scooby Doo. I just heard it in my voice, in my head. Run over,
Run River Rorella? Yeah. That's how I was
Reverend Frost, Rye Rick.
No, Scooby Doo for Shai is still Shai Reznik.
he's the Israeli Scooby Doo. Yeah, right. Yeah, he cares about like regional accent. He does. Scooby Doo does.
Yeah, he's sensitive.
He's sensitive.
All right, 10x guys, people, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't be a 10x engineer.
That guy described people I don't want to work with. Like, I don't mind people to do some of those things, but if you legit could find someone that did all those things, yeah, I would I would hire him. And I don't care about the black desktop thing. That who cares?
I care.
Well, reading this made me think. I've had experiences. I've had jobs. I've had 20 jobs. Okay, 20 total places of employment. Right. And
are you using 20 like N, or have you actually worked at 20 places?
Literally, I have worked at 20 places.
Okay,
so I've counted. I've worked at 20 places.
Oh my gosh, I've worked at 20 places. Okay, and then
that was not a brag. Like I'm like. That wasn't even a humble brag.
And then,
all right. So, but I was thinking of like several places that I've been at, which had people who hit a lot of these notes that this guy is.
Chad? With Chad, you said, and Chad.
Did I say that? No, I meant places that I've been at where there have been people.
Named Chad.
The titular 10x engineer.
Okay. You said Chad. All right.
No, I wasn't.
I know a couple guys named Chad. They're 10x. No. But anyway, Kyle, keep going.
No, I wasn't naming that. So
were there 10x or like 8x?
Well, I don't know what they actually were. I can tell you that they had these behaviors, right? And so I can also tell you that these were places that I saw people leave due to the behavior of these engineers and people that were good engineers. And I myself left. At the very minimum, I left one place almost directly, and a couple of other jobs I left because of they were a big part of what was going on. I've had opportunities to do work that was lucrative work with people that I've chosen not to do lucrative work with because of these. And I've heard of companies who really do like the output of certain people, and they have to do things like, okay, you are on our special teams, and special teams is just you. And you work over here, and you aren't allowed to communicate with anybody through anything other than outputted code, right?
Oh, sounds like North Korea. Yeah.
Right. I've been in a couple of places. Well, I have no idea. Maybe when I get to be a CEO of a company or somebody, maybe I'll fall in late. Well, a real CEO, not if there's.
Hey, I'm a CEO.
Yeah. I went and registered my LLC, and now I'm a CEO.
You're like a leprechaun CEO right now.
Yeah.
Doing some Tink Studios. Oh, thanks for coming to my website. Okay.
I get to sit at the CEO table now.
Look at my business card. It says the CEO.
Right. Maybe one day I can't imagine feeling this way, but I don't know. There are people making the decisions, and these people are not idiotic people. I don't know why they're making this decision. Maybe they're just making idiotic choices. Maybe they aren't. Whatever. They're doing this thing. All I could tell you is I saw the damage that they were doing, and the company feeling the cost of retraining and rehiring was developers leave, right? You know, the code that goes in, I can't tell you how often I've felt and said this out loud at various places. It's way more important as the team changes, right? As it gets bigger, that the communication between people is optimized for, and you don't optimize for one developer's velocity. There is no developer that works faster than, even if there's 10x, there's no developer that works faster than 20 people.
So I'm going to say this. I believe that there's a place for all types of people. And putting aside this Twitter stream, this Twitter rant, right, that makes no sense. Talking about the people that you're talking about, Jose, there's room for those people as well, I think. And so I do like putting them where they fit and getting them out of where they don't fit. Like the people who don't work well with others but are inexplicably productive, I think there's room for them. I think it does make sense to say, hey, you're on projects special and go do the special thing. And especially if you're not like pandering to them and you're actually saying, this will make me millions of dollars, go do this, and you don't have to make anyone else mad.
Right. Well, I think there's another aspect in there, and that is, I think what a lot of people are reading into this is essentially tacitly encouraging certain kinds of antisocial or toxic behavior. And I think that potentially is the dangerous issue. Hey, undoubtedly, I have been a jerk probably once in my life.
2 times.
I have been a jerk many times in my life.
So I'm certain there have been people that have either wanted to quit because of my behavior, potentially might have quit because of my behavior at jobs, or been really frustrated at my behavior at jobs. And what I didn't need was a manager to just tell the other person to buck up and deal with it. What I needed was a manager to come to me and help me work through how to be how to deal with certain things, right?
Or both.
Well, you talk about that CEO perspective, like with running my nonprofit and dealing with a lot of different personalities, the only regrets I have ever had are A, giving toxic people too many chances and being hesitant to move them off because they were contributing. And it has always left really bad emotional and mental damage with the team. That's taken a lot of rebuilding every time I've let a toxic person stay on too long.
So I feel like I am agreeing with you guys, but I'm also saying a different thing that I think you guys are agreeing with me too, which is if someone's not in the right seat in the bus, then we got to get them on the right seat in the bus. And if that means this person who, like the Joe Eames nightmare scenario where you were just explaining, Joe, if that means we just need to change your seat, then let's just change your seat. But like in this imaginary world where Joe's a bad guy, which I think you're one of the best guys I know, but in that world, I think you just change the person's seat. You just say, hey, I know you're the best at this. Just do this more, and you can't do this because you're not good at it. And if you want me to help you, I'll help you. But for now, we're going to put you on this and protect the other people because you're making a mess.
And there's something
that's fine with that context, but you can't just move somebody and isolate them without addressing the problematic behaviors, or they will never change.
I agree. I agree. But you got to tell them, hey, I'm moving you because of this, and you either need to fix it, and I'll help you, or if you're comfortable with who you are, I want to support you, and let's just keep you over here. Some people, they are how they are, maybe because of something they can't control, and I don't want them to feel bad. I don't want them to go home and be like, "Oh man, I'm a bad person." Like,
I don't think the person that we're describing would ever go home and feel bad. They would find a way to blame everybody else.
I don't know. I think that's a generalization. I think there's some people who wouldn't feel bad, but I think there's others who want to fit in, just don't know how.
Yeah, I think something that I said was a pretty maybe blunt and thoughtless, which is maybe like expecting somebody to be who I expect them to be and behave the way that I expect them to behave is also not the right track to take either. Understanding that, hey, getting better about dealing with your team environment or the environment that you're in and getting better at that and understanding the effects that your behavior has on the people around you better, and then working within the constraints that the person can change in a reasonable time period, working within those constraints and understanding those, but also just expecting that a certain person is going to be, either you are exactly this type of person or else you are not an acceptable person is also not the right track. And so to your point, sometimes you have to understand and play both things. How can we make this person work within our team? And what can we do on our side to help them work within our team, yet also accommodate for them growing and their the limited human ability that there is to just change exactly who you are.
And also let everyone else on the team that hates that person feel heard, right? Like it's a balancing act, right? Like, so yeah. And you do have to put fences around the people and say, hey, if you do this, that's a line you can't cross. If you do this, I get you think that's okay. I'm telling you it's not. Like, I'm trying to create a safe place for you, but this is not okay. Saying this on the Slack channel, bad. Like, you do have to draw lines, hard lines on everyone, not just these people, right? Everyone needs to have hard lines. But yeah, anyway, I think we're agreeing more than we're just.
Jennifer's given a little bit of a head shake. So I want to hear.
Well,
I want to hear this.
It probably hits close to home because, like, the last time I worked with a 10x engineer, he was doing a lot of really verbally abusive crap to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was trying to do everything that I could to please him and like keep myself, from.
Can I ask, was this person legit like, oh my God, he delivers 10 times more code than anyone else? Like, is he a 10x or are you just using 10x as he was one of those douchebag awkward people? He's not actually worth keeping.
He was the brilliant developer the CEO refused to fire, even though he was a complete ass. He would put out a lot of code, but he was also the guy who would rewrite the code base in a weekend because he found something newer and cooler and then expect everybody to get on his level.
Okay, he does sound like he does sound like.
Yeah.
Did he have a black desktop?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna say he sounds like keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, but so like we're having all this conflict, and so I took a lot of notes, and I asked him for a meeting, and I was like, hey, here are some of our communication conflicts I'm noticing. Like this has happened. I think I would respond better in this way. You might respond better in this way. Can we work on a communication strategy together to like get past this issue? And he's like, well, I am the way I am. I'm not going to change the way I communicate. And so it just blew my mind. Somebody who will rewrite a code base to make it better an entire weekend can't apply that same mindset to their own personal skills, whether it's communication or whatever. And so, like, Joe, I am completely on board. Like, I would never want somebody to feel like they should behave in a certain way. But I think we all have a responsibility to evolve as human beings and be conscious and aware of our actions and the way they impact other people.
Yeah, I really didn't mean to say it that way, that they shouldn't behave a certain way, but more like...
I totally got where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like, hey, you see this person, you need to behave like that person.
Yeah.
But here are bounds for reasonable behavior. And what you're talking about to me also sounds like a situation where the manager wasn't willing to be really part of it and to facilitate both things and draw the boundaries on what is or is not acceptable behavior on a team. Right?
Yeah. And then my hesitation with like saying, oh, everybody has a spot is like, no, because I've seen these kind of people like have this awful behavior over and over and over again, and they just get to do whatever they want, and they never receive any sort of criticism or rebuttal or punishment. And I hate that we have to think about like punishing people like 3-year-olds, but like you need to learn how to behave as a better human, and there needs to be incentive to do that if it's not your own decent like.
Yeah, if the person isn't necessarily saying, hey, I want to improve as a human, then the manager needs to step in and say, for this company, this is what works and this is what doesn't. Either you work within the bounds that we're establishing. So we had on a different podcast that I recorded yesterday, Jesse Sanders from the CEO of Breebug, who was one of our panelists we were talking about. And he, several months ago, explained this thing to me that was fascinating. The quadrants of people on a team, right? And so you have your core values for your team. And then that's one axis. And the other axis is the productivity of the person. Very applicable to what we're talking about, right? So you create 4 quadrants. The top, let's call it top right quadrant, is your great quadrant. These are people that are highly productive and hit the core values 100% of your team, right? Mm-hmm. They're your stars. Then you've got, let's say, underneath them are people who are not productive, but they do have the right core values for the team, right? Mm-hmm. So those are your potentials. You're working with them and trying to get them to either be productive, or you have them sitting in a place where their lack of productivity is not necessarily detrimental to the company, right? Or the team or whatever.
Yep.
The bottom left is the obvious problems. They aren't productive and they don't match the core values. Easy to filter out, usually beforehand, but quickly after they're part of the team.
Yep.
The top left is the problem quadrant. These are the terrorists. Okay, and that's not just his word. Like, I guess this comes from some management philosophy. They are productive, but don't fit the company culture. Right? Shai. Very, very dumbed down usage of the word. Right? Watered down usage of the word. Watering down that word and repurposing it for something else.
Yeah, I can find other uses.
Let's not explore this topic anymore.
Okay.
Right? That was a name somebody gave that, and I will now cease using that word for that thing. But these are the problem people, right? They are productive, but they don't match your core values. And the reason that they are a problem is because they're the ones who push the rock stars out, right? The rock stars are caused to quit because of the problems that they create. So those are the people that you have the hard time getting rid of, really hard to get rid of because they're productive, but they're causing problems. And so it was very interesting. And do we talk about the 10X engineers that sit in that first quadrant? They're highly productive and they hit the core values of the company and the team. And I say company, really what we're talking about is team, the core values of the team. Can you be a team player and be highly productive?
I think you can, but not in the way that was highlighted in that.
I don't think it was a serious thing. It sounded like someone just made it up on the spot. I can make up something now and it will be the same value as...
Yes, that's true. But I'm
That's
pretty sure
true.
this guy spent years putting this together. It really feels like this guy.
I doubt it. I hope not.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to switch this because we got a few minutes left. What about, I'm just disappointed, y'all, that people, they keep using console.log,
How can I verbally hang my head in shame? I don't know how to verbally do this on the podcast. Hanging my head in shame.
Yeah. It's
Well,
just.
Wait. Give me...
There's a better way, Shai.
Wait. Give me a context because this is also a trend now. Like this is also a 10x thing.
It was a tweet where the person said, "Stop using console log today. There's something so much better." And I was like, "Oh my God, like what is it? It sounds amazing." Click. And I read it. You know what it was, yo?
What?
It was debugger statements.
Oh, the debugger statement. Actually putting in a debugger statement and breaking into the debugger?
Yeah, typing debugger with a semicolon and then running your code.
All right.
Mind blown.
Could I be a little vulnerable and admit an amount of shame I have for one? Heavily, it's my go-to is console.log.
Mm-hmm.
And two, not using the console in VS Code.
No, don't be sad of either of those, just so you know. It's okay.
I don't do them. I think that I'm missing some bar. I'm underneath some bar.
I'm a 10x developer. I don't have to console log my code because I know exactly what it's going to do.
Yeah, every line of code. In my
converted
mind,
it. You transposed it in your mind.
I did.
Yeah, in my mind. You are like, if you never use the console in VS Code, that makes you like a 4x developer, I think.
You get at least 2x just from the console in VS Code.
Just from the console in VS Code. Yeah, that's 2x for being the console in VS Code. That's 2 of your 10. 2 of your 10. So I'm going to say, as we're going back, responses to that tweet, my response was actually one of my more favorites, which was I posted the animated GIF of the scene from NCIS, where they're getting hacked, and the girl who's the tech girl, that she's like the super emo girl, she's dealing with the hack, and the other guy that's kind of I guess he's kind of a geek. I don't watch the show. He's kind of the geeky tech guy. He's sitting next to her, and it's getting bad, and he throws his hands down on the keyboard next to hers. He takes the left half. She takes the right half, and they're both pounding on the keyboard to deal with the hack.
It's because you can do it faster.
If you wish to watch this video or see the anime GIF, you could just Google 2 idiots, 1 keyboard. It's the universal accepted now name for this. But I tweeted that GIF back and then put underneath it it's 2x engineer right there. That was. But there was somebody who put a video.
I actually had an idea. I had an idea for a talk like that.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. I got 2 more things to say. One, there's a video tweet response to it was actually really good. This woman, she has a great Twitter handle too. She did this like video where she showed being a 10x engineer recording this guy's thing. Absolutely hilarious. You should look for that one. I'll try to find it, put it in the show notes. But also, funny story from one day when I worked at this place. It was 100% pairing. We're pairing, and they bring in some kind of ice pops, right? Popsicle, some kind of popsicle, right? We both wanted a popsicle, but you only need one hand to eat the popsicle. So we figured it out. I took the left half of the keyboard. He took the right half of the keyboard. One hand for the popsicle, one hand for the keyboard. And we continued to pair program. But I was the left half. He was the right half. It was difficult. It was challenging, but we did it. Good 10 minutes.
Like an Atlassian video waiting to happen.
It sounds like a D&D character, bro.
Sounds like it should be named 2 idiots, 1 popsicle.
No, there's 2 popsicles. 2 popsicles, 1 keyboard.
What about 2 popsicles, 2 idiots?
That would work.
That's a different video. Anyway, so
why are people so weird? Why do they keep saying these weird statements and like generalizing them across everybody?
Everyone want to be famous, Frosty.
Everybody want to be famous.
The level of naivete just punches me in the face when I hear it. Like, it's so crazy to pretend like the background color of a desktop or to interpret someone's crazy office hours as a good thing inherently. Like, That's crazy, right? I don't know. Like, I just don't understand why people are talking like this.
I think it's because people have different personality types, and I don't know the guy. I don't know if he's a developer or just a startup founder or investor. It sounds like he's an investor, but anyway, maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's because I don't know something that is more popular there to work these hours or to have this background or something like that.
Oh, no way. You would totally see the same sweet like tweet from some dude in Silicon Valley wearing his Patagonia vest, like
Yeah. I mean, those were the people that were like, yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. I just think this guy was the dude who accidentally went, it's good enough. I'll tweet it. Like, I think he was the one that made that mistake. But I think there's other people that went, yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah. I mean, that just screamed like Silicon
I don't
Valley
know.
big bro mentality to me.
I don't know. I once posted in our JavaScript Israel group in Facebook, I posted like a post saying that I have an imposter syndrome, and sometimes like I have like this a period of times where it hit me, and then I feel insecure and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden when I succeed in something, I feel more secure and go back and forth and stuff like that. And I shared it for people, especially for junior developers who maybe feel insecure, that they will see that everyone feel that. And a lot of responses from other experienced developers that said the same thing, that they too feel like they don't know, like, they know only 10% of what they need to know and all that stuff. And we had also responses from people that they said, no, I feel confident, I know everything, and I don't think I need to learn more, or I feel pretty confident what I know. And that's cool, that's okay. I think it comes down to different personality types, like people are different from one another. Like, people are less sensitive and better at certain tasks, and people are more sensitive and like, I don't like other stuff. So maybe it comes down to that.
Maybe Shai.
Maybe.
So I want to throw something out here about this. A lot of the behaviors, not the nonsensical ones like the background color, but a lot of the behaviors that were described here are the types of things that actually slow down the velocity of your teammates, right? And it is very cool and easy to look at and say, hey, look at the velocity of this one particular developer and look at how high the velocity of this developer goes so long as that developer optimizes their behavior for their own velocity. And you can see a few people, all of a sudden, that person's velocity goes crazy. And then you start thinking, it's easy to see this. It's really hard to measure team velocity, but look at how much is getting cranked out by this person. And so it could be very tempting to say, let's optimize around that individual velocity. That only works when the individual is the only person on the team. The reality is that person's velocity gets optimized using especially these types of behaviors, the team velocity goes down, and you have to, at some point, make a conscious choice to be, if you're going to pay more than one engineer, to say the team velocity is more important than individual velocity. And if you look at most of the things that are around teams, they are attempts to minimize the effect of the behaviors that must be engaged in to maximize team velocity while detrimentally affecting individual velocity. For example, any communication meeting slows down the velocity of the individual contributor because they have to sit there and communicate with somebody else. My most successful project had no unit tests and no documentation because it was like 5,000 lines of code I wrote on my own. Like, I was turning out code so fast because it was a small project I could keep in my head.
You didn't have integration points.
I had no integration points, so I didn't have to worry about that. And if you look at those integration points as simply, if you look at the individual velocity, it has to come down so that the team velocity can come up. You must have meetings, you must have documentation. Unit tests, as much as I am a 100% a proponent of unit tests, and I actually do like them for TDD and would use them on a solo project, a lot of the value that comes out of them is the value for the team at large. The larger the team is, the more important unit tests are, right?
I 100% about the developers who just go fast, real quick, and producing feature like completing tasks and running forward in sprints. And then like, especially managers look at their like ratio and they say, okay, cool. That's a good, they accomplish a lot, but they don't dive in. And I as a consultant, I go and see a lot of, code like that where people sprinted and then left, or printed and they're still on the team, but people can't find anything, and only that guy can touch that code because he knows what the hell is going on there. So that's 100% true. Like, they can go fast, but what about the rest of us? Like,
Yeah, I'm also a little bothered by the fact that it's pretty natural to refer to these toxic 10x engineers by the gender pronoun he, but I also have no argument with it. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
no, there are girls that mess up the code too. Don't get all, they're like, everyone messes the code,
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I totally agree that that's a consideration that managers should have when watching, like, someone go fast with their, like, task, and actually, having time for technical debt, and seeing what others think about their code and all that stuff, like if it's maintainable.
Right.
Yeah, I think that we need to get to focus more on the communication piece of programming. At any given conference, there's one or two soft skills talks, when really the hardest part of programming is that. The easiest part of programming is reading the documentation and reading a blog and figuring out how to do things the way everyone else is. And being a good programmer, for me, is about communicating more effectively and multiplying other people's time. Like, the more people I can help be better, that makes me better. So I don't know.
I think there's also a pretty obvious and nearly incontrovertible proof against this person's theories about this, and that is, simply stated, the Agile Manifesto. If you look at the Agile Manifesto, who put it out? These were top engineers. These are luminaries in our field who, by themselves, were amazing individual contributors, right? These were absolutely 10x type engineers from the standpoint of they were capable of churning out amazing quantities of code. And all of them got together, and the Agile Manifesto essentially is all about improving team communication and team velocity, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I think that by itself stands up as, here's people who actually were capable of churning out crazy quantities of code, and they were saying, how do we make our teams faster? Right?
Maybe because they did the same mistakes, right? Like, it doesn't come from nothing. Like, people with a lot of experience have experienced a lot of mistakes during their career, and that conflicts with the point number 9. 10x engineers are poor mentors, as they can't teach others on what to do or parcel their work. They always think it takes too long to teach or discuss with others. I would rather do it myself. They are also poor interviewers. Anyway, yeah, I needed to say it one more time just to feel complete. Okay, cool. So that was a good episode about community.
Yeah. How weird the community gets. We didn't even go into all the weird stuff. There's too much weird to talk about, but yeah. I don't know what we're going to call this episode. Shai?
Let's call it the 10x episode.
The 10x episode. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Adventures in 10x.
Adventures in 10x.
Hey, are you working on a complex enterprise Angular application? Angular Bootcamp is an intensive 3-day workshop class to learn the basics of Angular through sophisticated techniques for real-world applications. They update the class regularly for the most current Angular, and a lot of the curriculum is also relevant to older versions. Or you can go beyond the 3-day class with help from Oasis Digital, the team behind Angular Bootcamp. They can assist your team or launch your project, including scalability, data flow, state management, service architecture, full stack product design, and a ton more. Or you can contact them for a private class at your location or attend public classes in cities around the US and occasionally in Europe. Online live instructor training is also available at angularbootcamp.com.
All right, let's go to some picks. Does anyone want to go first?
I would like to pick a tweet that I saw called like the 10x engineers tweet. I would put it in the show notes.
Okay.
And it talks about how you can be. How do you spot a 10x engineer?
Okay. Yeah. No, it's like a guide.
That guy sounds awesome.
It's like 11 points, not 10.
Yeah.
Over delivering.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Okay, no, but and I would like to recommend a cool conference I learned about today from Jennifer called PopConf.
You're taking my pick. I'll explain it in my turn.
Yeah, you should. Okay.
You took her conf, dog.
Conf or
You
pick?
took her pick, yeah. That's messed up.
Well, I'll go next then. So I will explain what PubConf is, and you can find out more about it at pubconf.io. But as we're recording this podcast, it's my hometown developer conference, Kansas City Developer Conference. And PubConf is a kind of like after party that pairs with conferences all around the world. You'll see them at a lot of the NDC conferences. But it is a kind of like after party entertainment show. And what they do is they invite 10 speakers to compete. So these speakers prepare what are called Ignite style talks, which means it's a 5-minute talk. You have 20 slides, 15 seconds a slide, and the slides auto progress. So you don't have control of the clicker. And they're meant to be humorous. They're meant to be funny. They're meant to be inappropriate. There's a very specific code of conduct for this event. And Friday night, I will be presenting if choosing a JavaScript framework was like an episode of The Bachelorette based on this current season of The Bachelorette, which would be my second pick because The Bachelorette just sent a dude home for like trying to slut shame her. And it was amazing. It was the best episode of The Bachelorette in TV history. But PubConf is a lot of fun. Great event to come out, get some good laughs. And then 3 speakers get voted on. And then they go to the lightning rounds, which is the same format, except you've never seen the slide deck before and you may be presenting on a topic you don't know. So
it's like karaoke.
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty entertaining.
is it? So I watched a couple of those and was kind of disappointed. I've heard that they were hilarious. They did some at a conference I went to, and I was a little disappointed that it's almost like it's an improv skill. Like I would pay to watch Shai do this.
Yeah.
But when general people just get up, I was a little disappointed with the results. But I love the Ignite format.
Yeah, for sure.
Too.
And like the cool thing about like previous PubConf is the slide deck is normally like just memes. So if you spend any amount of time on the internet, normally you have enough context. It is heavily improvisational. Like that's a huge skill. Or you can just like pick a tech celebrity and make fun of them. I did that one time when I got security as a topic.
Nice.
Yep.
So is it like around the world, it's the same conference? Basically, I see they have in Amsterdam as well. Like it's the same format?
For PubConf, yeah. And so it depends on like them partnering with the conference and if they're going to be there or not. But yeah, it'll be some after party, always the 10 speakers. This year, the guy who runs it, Todd, has been like theming everything. And so right now we're doing TV episodes. When we did NDC London in January, the theme was movies. And so I chose aliens for mine. So kind of different themes to keep it fresh.
Nice. Sounds amazing.
It's super fun.
Okay, who's next? Joe, you go.
Yeah, so kind of we started off with what I thought was a pretty hilarious topic. Switched to some kind of semi-serious discussion. So I'm going to pick emotional IQ, right? Which is kind of this umbrella term for a lot of things. Things like empathy, boundaries, mindfulness, self-compassion, vulnerability, honesty, a lot of things that are near and dear to my heart. And you should make space in your life to care about these things and work on these things for yourself. So that's going to be my pick, emotional IQ.
Okay. I'm going to pick the OnePlus 7 Pro. It's possibly the nicest phone on the market. And I just got it and it's insane. It's by the company called OnePlus. They started with the OnePlus 1, OnePlus 2. Now they're on the OnePlus 7 Pro. It's in the same phone, 12 gigs of RAM, 90 hertz refresh rate on the screen. It's crazy. The screen goes, it's literally the full entire screen. There's no notch. There's no camera notch. It's an insane phone. So yeah, I'm going to pick that phone and I'm going to pick observables because they make life so much easier. So that's my next pick is observables. I think we all need to do a better job at sharing how awesome they are. The same way that we shared how awesome promises were over callbacks, I think we need to share observables over promises. It's such a powerful paradigm. So anyway, those are my 2 picks.
Oh, and you forgot Pablo Francisco, Bits and Pieces. He's from 2005, I think, or something.
Yeah, and then I'll pick Pablo Francisco's Bits and Pieces. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. It's got music from like my wedding, and
This song
it's got like my favorite song. So go check it out. It's one of the best stand-ups. Shai and I, we found a brotherly love around it. Like we both love it. So anyway, go check out Pablo Francisco's Bits and Pieces. All right, everybody, 10x episode. That's a wrap. Thanks for coming. See you next time.
Bye 10x. Thanks.
Doodles.
Bandwidth for this segment is provided by CacheFly, the world's fastest CDN. Deliver your content fast with CacheFly. Visit CacheFly.com to learn more.